Good morning, students. I welcome you all to a new class in physics today. In the previous class, I had taught you about Newton's second law of motion, in which we studied about momentum, linear momentum, the cases for momentum, and also we studied about how is rate of change of momentum related to force applied, and we derived the formula F is equal to ma. In today's class, we are going to focus on the day-to-day life examples of Newton's second law. Before we begin, I want to have a quick recap of what does the Newton's second law state. According to Newton's second law, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied and takes place in the direction of the force applied. Okay, children? So that is, if we have a closer look at this formula, it shows that the force applied is inversely proportional to the time and directly proportional to the momentum. Okay, now look at the first example. I'm reading it out for you. While catching a ball, a cricketer withdraws his hands along with the ball. Now, children, when you go to watch a cricket match, and especially the fielders who are standing on the boundary, you see that when there is a catch, or when the batsman hits the ball for a four, for a boundary, you see that the fielders who are standing at the boundary normally, how do they prefer taking the catch? They prefer taking the catch by withdrawing their hands backwards, and then they take the catch. What is the reason behind it? The reason behind that is they withdraw their hands along with the ball in order to increase the time duration. Now, before they take the catch, because if they withdraw their hands and the time duration increases, that is inversely proportional to the force or the impact, and therefore when the fielder takes the catch, he is going to get the force is going to reduce because the time duration increases and won't be badly hurt. Okay, children, look at the second example. Athletes often land on sand after taking a high jump or maybe a long jump. You all know that we had discussed about this in the very first law, that if there is an athlete who has to take a long jump, he runs, and after running a few meters, then he takes a long jump or a leap. The reason behind that was that his body is set into inertia of motion. Now, when the athlete is running, and if he has to land on the other side, he doesn't land on hard floor, because if he does so, he is going to get badly hurt on his foot and maybe his foot gets fractured. So due to that, what is done, a deep pit is dug on the other side and it is filled with sand. So if the athlete lands on sand, what is going to happen? The duration before which the athlete hits the ground and comes to rest will increase. The time duration would increase, and therefore with the force or the impact of the ground on his foot would decrease, and he will not get hurt or will land smoothly, okay, without getting hurt. Now look at the third example. When the glass vessel falls on hard floor, if you throw a glass on hard floor, it definitely is going to break, because immediately on hitting the ground, it hits the ground with a impact and or a force, and it cracks. Okay, but if the same glass is allowed to fall on a carpet or sand, it won't break. The reason behind that is that the time duration before the glass vessel hits the ground increases, decreasing the force, and thus there are less chances of that particular vessel to break. So these examples are the examples based on Newton's second law of motion from our day-to-day life, and we are going to discuss more such examples in our interactive class. Okay, children? Now this is all about Newton's second law. Today we will focus on Newton's third law of motion. Now, this Newton's third law of motion states that to every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, what does action mean? Action means that when you are applying a force on an object, or maybe the object is applying a force on something, and in return if a force is applied on that particular object, it is said to be reaction. Look at this diagram which I have drawn, children, carefully. I have drawn the diagram and shown you that there are two spring balances, A and B. Now what is done is, the arrangement is that you are taking spring balance A and the hook of the spring balance A is connected to the hook of spring balance B, which in turn is hooked to a wall. You are applying a pull on spring balance A. Now when you are pulling spring balance A, what is happening? That pull is being exerted on B also, because they are interconnected to each other. So therefore you see that FAB is the pull of the spring A on B. Okay, that is, A is exerting a pull on B, and that force is considered to be FAB, and that is the action force. That is the action force. Now what would be the reaction to this? The reaction to this would be FBA. That is, in turn, what will happen when you release this? You will see that B will start exerting a pull on A, which is equal and opposite to the force exerted on the force which is exerted by A on B will be equal and opposite to the force exerted by B on A. And to your surprise, you will see that both the spring balances have the same reading. For example, if this shows 4 kilogram force, this will also be showing 4 kilogram force, because the forces are equal and opposite to each other, and they are opposite. So we write FAB is equal to minus FBA. Now when I say that action is exerted by A on B, that is the action force. And what is the reaction, children? It is the force exerted by B on A. So therefore action and reaction forces are always exerted on two different objects. Remember this, children, this is very, very important. Action, if exerted on one object, reaction would be on the other object, and they are always equal and opposite to each other. Okay, so this is Newton's third law of motion. Okay, and we are also going to discuss a few examples from our day-to-day life which are based on Newton's third law. Now look at the first example over here. Book lying on a table. Children, we all know that if a book is lying on the table, or maybe if I say that this is a pouch, and if I place it on the table, this is the table. Now what is happening when I place this pouch on the table? The weight of the pouch is acting in the downward direction. You can see in the diagram I have drawn, the weight is action force. It is acted on the table because of the weight of the book which is placed on the table, and as a result of that, there is a reaction force which is exerted by the table on the book in the upward direction, and these two are action reaction forces which are acting on the book, due to which it is stable. It doesn't fall. Look at this pouch. It is placed on the table. There is the weight of the pouch acting in the downward direction, and the table is also exerting an equal and opposite force on the pouch. What will happen if I place the pouch in the corner of the table? See, it falls. Why does it fall? Because there is an imbalance between action and reaction forces, due to which the pouch becomes unstable and it falls. Okay, children? So therefore action reaction forces are equal and opposite. Look at the second example, children. Here I have shown that there is a boat, and the person is in the boat. The boatman is the boat is actually near the shore, and it is not moving. Now if the boatman wants to move away from the shore, what is he going to do? He is going to take, say for example, he is going to take his oar, or he is going to take a big long bamboo, and he is going to push on the shore with the bamboo. Now when he pushes on the shore, that is the action force which is exerted on the shore. And as a result of the action force, there is an equal and opposite reaction force exerted by the shore on the boat, due to which the boat will be propelled in the forward direction and the boat will move away from the shore. So this is another example of action reaction forces. Now let's look at the third example. This is a bullet fired from a gun. Now I have drawn a pistol. Now when you press the trigger of this particular gun, you will see that the bullet comes out with a force, okay, and with a velocity. That is the action force and that is the action force in which the bullet is moving in the forward direction. You can see with the arrow I have shown you. As a result of the bullet moving out with a force, what is happening? There is a reaction force which is produced on the gun, and the person who is holding the gun will get a jerk on his hand. He will get a slight jerk on his hand because of the reaction force. If this gun pistol is replaced by a shoulder gun, then what is going to happen? The bullet moves ahead, and the person will get a jerk on his shoulder instead. So these are a few examples of action reaction forces. I'm going to continue with more examples just after this class immediately.